In January, Israel agreed to a ceasefire after 16 months of committing genocide against Palestinians. That ceasefire is about to end, and Israel has cut off aid again. Keep donating to fundraisers and aid organizations on the ground, keep sharing updates from Palestinians, keep following the BDS boycott. The occupation must end. And do not forget about the genocides in Sudan and Congo, which have been happening for over a year as well. For those of us who do not endure these horrific circumstances, we must do what we can to help. COVID is still here, it's still dangerous even if you're healthy, it's still killing thousands of people every week and infecting and hospitalizing many more. It can still spread from individuals who are asymptomatic, and asymptomatic cases can still cause lasting damage to your health. There's a vaccine for new variants that came out a few months ago, so now is a good time to get that booster if you have the ability and you haven't done so already. Bird flu is becoming a growing concern now as well. Please use caution when around livestock and when consuming animal products. And, at least in the US, measles is also becoming a growing concern. Please continue masking or start masking again if you've stopped. Stay safe. Hi, hello, it's Rachel. So, the documentary film No Other Land won at the Oscars a couple weeks ago, and I've seen a lot of excitement from fellow anti-Zionists, and I just want to briefly talk about this because I don't think it's as big of a win as people seem to think it is. So I should probably preface this by saying that I haven't actually watched this documentary myself, as I'm already pro-Palestine. I've seen multiple other documentaries, and I try to keep up to date with actual Palestinians reporting on their circumstances. So it just feels kind of redundant, especially as this documentary is focused on the dynamic between an Israeli journalist, Yuval, and a Palestinian activist, Basil, which is already questionable framing of the situation, to be honest. But my roommate, who is also pro-Palestine, went to the theater to see it, and they came back just gushing about how good it was. And a lot of what they were relaying to me afterwards just felt very off. So I decided to do some digging about the movie. My first concern about this film is that it is an Israeli production. It's not a film made by Palestinians. Yes, clearly the Israelis involved in this documentary are against the genocide, but the fact that it is an Israeli production means it is kind of inherently avoiding certain topics. For those of us in anti-Zionist circles, we do not view Israel as a legitimate country because it is an occupation based on stolen land that Palestinians have been kicked out of. Obviously, individuals who are attached to their Israeli identity are not going to be comfortable acknowledging or confronting this, that a two-state solution is not the end goal. A two-state solution just kind of masks the current situation a little bit better, but it doesn't actually do much to change the underlying issues. The documentary focuses on Yuval and Basil's quote-unquote friendship, choosing to only vaguely discuss the history of Palestine's occupation in favor of this coexist message. While Yuval does mention his privileges as an Israeli citizen, the documentary also wants to create a distance between him and Zionist Israelis. While he doesn't approve of the methods of the Israeli government, he has no interest in renouncing his Israeli citizenship, and all of his ideas for the future hinge on a two-state solution. The film wants the audience to find the relationship between the occupier and the occupied to be heartwarming, something that can only be accomplished by leaving a lot unsaid. My second concern is, has everyone forgotten that most Western institutions are pro-Zionist? Like, yes, this film is making staunch Zionists mad, because Zionists don't want a two-state solution, they want every Palestinian to be driven out of Palestine and to claim the land for themselves. The Oscars giving this documentary the award isn't them having a sudden change of heart. This is a gentler propaganda that argues for the oppressed and oppressor to find a middle ground. Hell, during the acceptance speech, Yuval brought up October 7th and said the Israeli hostages need to be freed, a comment which Basil looked frustrated by, and argues for a diplomatic solution, not for the land to be returned to Palestinians. Typical settler mentality, I guess. I also want to mention that Basil is still in the West Bank filming Israeli crimes while this film is currently being celebrated. So please continue to support Basil's work and activism. And lastly, BDS does not support this film, so that certainly says a lot. I'll just end this with a scene from Salt of the Sea that has the guts to say what this documentary didn't.
You read, I want to buy my house from you.
You can, the state owns it, and the Jewish National Fund they won't sell to non-Jews.
I'll convert.
Won't work. הלו? היי. מה? נו, אז מתי אני רואה אותך? אני מתגעגעת. נו? מחר. אז מחר. טוב. ביי. You okay?
Yeah. I'm fine. This is my home. It was stolen from my family. So it's for me to decide if you can stay. And you can.
Are you serious?
My father should have been raised in this house, not in a fucking camp.
You want to speak about history, the past. Let's forget it.
Your past is my everyday. My right now. This is not your home.
It is now.
You can stay. If you admit all of this is stolen.
I can stay? This was your grandfather's home. They left.
They were forced to.
بنت الحلال هدي شوي.
They didn't want to leave. My grandfather laid down this floor. What does that mean to you?
She's crazy. I'm extending a hand to you. I invited you to stay. I'm being friendly.
Our windows, our doors, our fucking house. Admit it.
Get out of my house.